A decorated war veteran stands frozen in the shadows of a crime scene, watching a police officer stuff blood-stained money into his jacket. In that moment, Timothy Johnson knows his life is about to change forever. But what he doesn't know is that the corrupt system he's about to expose will use his own war wounds against him, turning his service to his country into a weapon of his destruction. The October rain pounds the streets of Marietta, Georgia, as Timothy Johnson walks his usual evening route. At 41, the high school history teacher still carries the weight of Afghanistan in his shoulders, the memories that wake him at 3 a.m. sharp every night. Tonight, like so many others, sleep refuses to come, so he walks. The flashing lights pull him toward Oakwood Drive. Police cars, an ambulance, yellow tape stretching across a modest suburban home. Tim stops at the edge of the scene, his military training kicking in as he surveys the chaos. That's when he sees him. Detective Sergeant Kevin Williams moves through the house with practiced ease. But something's wrong. Tim watches as Williams approaches the victim's dresser, glances around, then slides several $100 bills from the dresser into his jacket. The money is stained with something dark. Tim's heart pounds. His hands shake, not from the PTSD this time but from pure adrenaline. He pulls out his phone, starts recording, but Williams suddenly turns. Their eyes meet across the darkness. "Sir, you need to move along," Williams calls out, his voice steady but his eyes calculating. Tim nods, pockets his phone, and walks away. But he knows Williams saw him. He knows what comes next. 3 days later, Tim sits in his classroom grading papers when his phone rings. "Mr. Johnson, this is Detective Williams. We need to talk." The meeting happens at the Marietta Police Department. Williams sits across from Tim in a sterile interview room, his demeanor friendly but predatory. "We've had some complaints about you, Tim. May I call you Tim?" Williams leans back. "Seems you've been following women in the neighborhood, taking pictures." "That's not true," Tim says, his voice steady despite the rage building inside him. "Look, I get it. War messes with your head, but we found these in your truck." Williams slides a folder across the table. Photos of women Tim doesn't recognize, taken with a telephoto lens. Tim's blood runs cold. "I've never seen these before. Plus, we found an unregistered firearm in your vehicle. That's a felony in Georgia." Williams taps the table. "But here's the thing. I want to help you. PTSD is a real condition. Maybe we can work something out." The threat hangs in the air like smoke. Tim realizes he's been perfectly set up. His military service, his mental health struggles, his nightly walks, all of it weaponized against him. At home that evening, Tim's wife Amanda finds him staring out their kitchen window. Dr. Amanda Johnson has profiled enough criminals to recognize the signs of someone being hunted. "They're coming for me," Tim whispers, finally telling her everything. Amanda's forensic psychology training kicks in immediately. "This isn't random, Tim. This is orchestrated. Someone with serious resources is behind this." Amanda dives into Williams' background like a woman possessed. What she finds chills her to the bone. Financial records showing massive gambling debts, unexplained cash deposits, and connections to underground betting rings across Atlanta. Meanwhile, Tim's life unravels rapidly. The school places him on administrative leave. His veteran friends start avoiding his calls. The local news picks up the story. War veteran charged with stalking, illegal weapons possession. Williams escalates the pressure. He shows up at their home with a warrant, searching through Tim's belongings while neighbors watch from their windows. He finds nothing new, but the damage is done. "Your husband's sick, Mrs. Johnson," Williams tells Amanda as he leaves. "He needs help before someone gets hurt." That night, Amanda makes a decision that changes everything. She calls her contacts at the FBI, but not for help, for information. She needs to understand Williams' operation from the inside. What she discovers is a web of corruption spanning half of Atlanta's police force. Williams isn't just stealing from crime scenes. He's part of a larger money laundering operation that feeds gambling debts and pays off judges. "We're not just fighting one corrupt cop," she tells Tim. "We're fighting a system." Act 4, The Transformation. Amanda's investigation leads her to Marcus Rivera, a former police officer turned private investigator who was forced out for refusing to play along with Williams' schemes. Rivera has been building a case against Williams for 2 years, but he needs proof. "Your husband's recording is just the beginning," Rivera tells Amanda, "but we need more." Williams is careful, but he's also desperate. His gambling debts are climbing. The plan they devise is dangerous. Amanda will use her FBI credentials to get close to Williams, posing as someone who can help him launder money through federal channels. Tim will document everything, despite the risk of violating his bail conditions. For weeks, they work in shadows. Amanda meets Williams at upscale restaurants, feeding him just enough information to gain his trust. Tim follows at a distance, his military training serving him well as he photographs meetings and records conversations. The breakthrough comes when Williams reveals the full scope of his operation. He's not just stealing from crime scenes, he's manipulating evidence, protecting criminals who pay him, and destroying lives to cover his tracks. "The system protects people like me," Williams brags to Amanda over dinner. Who's going to believe a shell-shocked veteran over a decorated detective? Tim, listening through Amanda's hidden microphone, feels something shift inside him. The shame he he's carried since the charges were filed transforms into something else: determination. The final confrontation happens at the Georgia Bureau of Investigation headquarters. Amanda has arranged a meeting with Williams, supposedly to finalize their money laundering partnership. What Williams doesn't know is that every word is being recorded by federal agents. Williams arrives confident, carrying a briefcase full of stolen money and evidence of his crimes. He's planned to frame Tim for the larger operation, painting him as a disturbed veteran who snapped and started stealing from crime scenes. "Your husband's going to take the fall for all of this," Williams tells Amanda as they sit in the conference room. "No one will question it. PTSD, illegal weapons, stalking, he fits the profile perfectly." That's when Tim walks in, flanked by federal agents and Rivera. Williams' face goes white as he realizes he's been caught. "You used my service against me," Tim says, his voice steady and strong. "You used my struggles, my trauma, as a weapon, but that trauma also made me stronger than you could ever understand." Williams lunges for his gun, but Tim is faster. Years of military training and months of careful planning culminate in a single moment where justice finally has its day. The evidence Amanda and Tim gathered leads to the arrest of 17 police officers and the exposure of a corruption network that had operated for over a decade. Williams receives 25 years in federal prison. 6 months later, Tim returns to his classroom. His students welcome him back with a standing ovation. The charges against him have been dropped, his name cleared, and his marriage to Amanda stronger than ever. "The system tried to break me," Tim tells his American history class, "but sometimes the system needs good people to stand up and fight back." Amanda watches from the doorway, knowing that their love didn't just survive the storm, it became the foundation for something greater. Together, they've proven that integrity and courage can overcome even the most corrupt systems. Share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story might inspire someone else to find their courage. And if you believe in stories that celebrate the strength of the human spirit and the power of standing up for what's right, subscribe to our channel for more true stories of ordinary people doing extraordinary things. Together, we can make sure that justice isn't just an ideal, it's a reality we fight for every day.